Well, good morning, YouTube. This is Chuck. It's Wednesday, August 6th, 2025. It's about 11 o'clock in the morning, and I've got a little inside project today that I'm going to tell you about and bring you along, and part of my, I guess we call it my Fixin Stuff series. So let me show you what it is. Most of you at some time in your life have had to deal with a flapper valve in a toilet that starts leaking, and this one here sticks every once in a while. And so today we're going to change it, and I got another one here, and I normally buy one of these and keep it on hand, and just in case one of them gives up in the middle of the night. But we're going to change that thing, and I'm going to bring you along. There's probably 10,000 other videos on YouTube about how to do this, but I figured I'd make it 10,001, and I'll bring you along and show you how I do it. So in order to get you set up, I got my tripod, and so I'll go ahead and get the camera reset, and I'll be back with you. Well, the first thing we got to do, obviously, is get the top off of this tank so we can take a look at what's going on in there. And we'll take a look down. Take a look down here at the flapper valve itself. That's that faded red thing right down there in the middle. And so what we need to do, we need to be able to shut the water off so we can work on that. And now there's a valve down on the floor that I could turn it off where it leads into the toilet, but I found it's just as easy just to block the flow. Let me show you how I'm going to do that. I'm going to take this little bungee cord, and I'm going to hook this thing right through here. And prop that up like that, and hook that right there. And what that'll do, I'm going to drain all the rest of that water out of there. We'll hold that. Basically what that does is that keeps this little float right here from going down. When that little float goes down, it opens up the valve and refills all this. This thing's kind of a mess in here, and most of them are. But let's take a look at that flapper valve and see what it looks like. Sometimes they'll just get a little bit of buildup of stuff on them, and that's all that's wrong with them. So taking them off is pretty simple. There's just these little clips on the end here. And I can already feel that this one's pretty brittle. And it doesn't want to pop right off there real easy. I'm going to shut this off a minute so I can wrestle with this, and I'll be back with you. Now, all it took, I just had to get a little physical with it because it's all brittle, which is probably why it decided to leak. But all you actually got to do is just give it a little tug here on both sides, and it pops right loose. So there you can kind of look at the bottom of it, and you can see there's a little buildup right there. This feels pretty soft, but we're going to go ahead and change it out anyway. The way you do that is you unclip this little chain right there with this little thing on the bottom, and we have a new one of that. And so I'm going to grab a paper towel and wipe out the seat of that thing right quick like. Make sure there's no buildup of any kind of residue on that might keep it from leaking. But I think the thing just got old, like the rest of us. Now you can see a little buildup of crud on there, that black. That's from the rubber. So now we want to figure out how far this goes down so we can get that about the same way, the same distance. We just hold them side by side, and this is actually pretty close to where it needs to be right now. We'll go down a couple of notches. Okay, now we're going to just set this in place. We'll hook this through the chain. I don't know if you can see what I'm doing here. Hook this through the chain. And now I've got the chain hooked in the wrong place here, so let me unhook it. I'm going to tighten that up just a little bit. Like everything else I work on, it seems like it wants to argue with me. Sometimes it takes a little bit to get this thing just exactly in the right spot. We're going to go down about, right about there. And let's see how that one works. That looks about right. So what we're going to do now, make sure that opens and closes, and you can see it. It opens and closes, and that should take care of it. So let's take this thing off, and let's let it fill up, and we'll cycle it, and that should be all it takes. So let's let this run for just a minute, make sure we got it right. If you're propping this thing in the upward position to shut the water off, you need to be sure and don't get real physical with it, because it's just a piece of plastic, and especially if it's an older one, it can get kind of brittle. If you break that, then you got to replace that whole assembly, and this one here has been replaced before, but I'm not real interested in doing that unless I have to. But changing the flapper valve out is no big deal. That tank's refilling. And we'll flush it a couple of times and make sure it's happy, and then we'll call it good. The way that float valve works, of course, is as if water comes up there, then this thing will come up here and it'll shut this valve right there off at the top. Actually kick that back just a tiny bit there so you can see what I'm talking about. When the float comes up, it runs this little lever right there which shuts it off right there. Now if it gets too high, it'll just start running down in here and it'll run back into the bowl down there. That's so it doesn't fill this thing clear up and spill all over the floor. It takes a little bit for that thing to fill up. It doesn't fill up real fast. Now while we're waiting for that to fill up, you can see that down here, right down there, you can see like there's kind of a buildup of rusty stuff down in there. And part of that was, I tried using some of those cleaner tablets that you can put in there, and they seem to do more harm than good. And I'm gonna, when I get done here today, I'm gonna dump a little vinegar in there, and that'll help clean that. I didn't want to put the vinegar in until I was finished. And you can see that arm is starting to come up. The floats, there it is, and it stopped. Okay, so let's check it and make sure it's going to work. And there it is. Looks like we got it. Now, next time I go over to Walmart, I'll buy another one of those flapper valves, so I'll have one on hand. If that's filling up again, as soon as the cycle's off and turns itself off, we'll know the job is done. There you can see that float right there is starting to come up. The lever there's moving. And as soon as it gets up to the water line right there, it should shut itself off. And there it is. Well, my friends, that's all there was to it. And a little bit of echo in here. But any one of you can do that. It doesn't, certainly don't need a degree in engineering. I didn't even use any tools. And you can change out that flapper valve. And like all of them, they get kind of brittle after a while, and then they don't seal as good. So this one here will probably last for another 5 years or so, and I won't have to mess with it. And so it's a one little home repair, so we got it fixed. And as I always tell you, take care of each other and love each other. And we'll be back with you again with another one. The technician's out replacing the windshield on my truck as we speak. And so he didn't necessarily want to be on camera. So I'll shoot I shot it before, and I'll shoot it after when he's done. But until I talk to you again, it'll be pretty quick. Let me just tell you, peace out.